Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Katrina, Rasbold, and Friends. I just want to say I've been doing this for a little over a month, I think it is. I don't have exact figures. I'm too lazy to look it up. But I'm sorry, I'm too busy to look it up. But uh, I have had the honor of interviewing so many wonderful people, and I knew really cool people. And I told you I know really cool people. And doing this has really shown me how many cool people I know and how much I appreciate them. So thank you for being there to be witness to that, everybody. And when I started doing this, I told you that I had a list of people I wanted to interview. And you are now looking at the top of the list, the number one, the only Eric Rasbold, the teacher, the Reiki master, the author, the husband, the priest, and the dad, and just wears so many hats in our family and in our practice. And I know that you don't get to see him as much as you should. The people that are out there, not in our immediate environment, who are my students and the people who ask questions, the seekers, you don't get to hear from him as much. And I'm sorry for that, because I met this guy in 1996. And from that moment of meeting him, my life has been so much more dimensional than it was before. And I'm just blessed to have this person in my life, and much less to share almost my every minute of every day with. And so I'm excited to do this interview, and we're going to run through the same questions we do with everybody else. But first, how the hell are you doing? You, Eric.
Me? Well, when I'm not wearing all these hats, I'm doing pretty good. It's funny you mentioned hats. I literally have one hat that I wear, and it's right here. This guy. This is the only hat I own.
Oh, the rose is gone from it.
No, it's still there.
Oh, there it is. That rose has been on there for about 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah. So
that hat you got at Denio's Farmers Market.
Yeah. I think it was 97. 98,
was it that long ago?
It was. Yeah.
We got married in November 97, so I think it was probably 98. But that's still a long ass friggin' damn time to have a hat.
Long time to have a hat.
That was a good investment on that hat.
And one of the few things that I have from before the fire.
Yeah, true story.
Yeah.
I'm glad you grabbed that hat. When we were going, I wouldn't have thought to grab the hat, and you did. So that was very smart.
I did. I don't know why I made the decisions to grab certain things and not others. But I mean, that's just how it is. But I'm doing really well. I'm at a good point in my life right now where time, money, and energy are all together in the same place. It's somewhere I never thought I'd be, at least not until much further down the road. But here we are. So I can't complain about it. I mean, the sun's out. It's like 68 degrees. We just had a good rain. I got a thick lawn the end of October. I mean, could it be worse? Sure. Absolutely. No, but it's not. It's not.
Well, you've been super dad the last couple of weeks because a whole bunch of our kids moved and into different places. And so you were toting and carrying. Are you still sore?
No, not really. I got kind of lucky with that. And I was worried about, some things, with heavy items up and downstairs and loading trucks and unloading trucks and all that. But no, it worked out. And hopefully yesterday is the last day that I have to move any of my children's things. So,
well, let's try to not move anything else either.
No, not at all.
So it's been a long run. You and I have now known each other almost 30 years.
Yeah.
And to completely spill it, been married for most of that.
Yeah. I think we did a traditional what might be called a lesbian wedding, right? Where, we
brought a U-Haul to the first date or second
yeah,
date.
yeah. And it was, I consider myself very lucky with that, because when, I met you, I knew, like, there was no, like, oh, I might like this person. And like, there was just this knowing, and it's like, okay, all right, I can do that. And it worked out.
It did.
So,
It did.
yeah.
Despite what everybody thought, it worked out.
Despite what everyone thought. Everyone's very vocal judgments and not misgivings, but, well, yeah, there was definitely some of those, but that came later. But yeah, they were all wrong. So,
and they were not dumb people. They were smart people.
They were smart people, but most of them are dead. So,
what does that say?
Yeah. No, especially my mother and stepfather. We were probably married for, I'd say, 13 or 14 years, and they said, "We get it. We get
it."
I
think what they meant.
We understand that. So, yeah,
we get it. She's not going to leave, is she? Yeah. We're stuck with her.
We get it. We can no longer afford the attorneys, and yeah.
Okay. So there's no good segue for this. And I want to,
Go ahead.
I want you to keep in mind that this is ideally around an hour-long show. Mm-hmm. But what do you think happens to you when you die? Now, you have very strong feelings about this.
So I've been watching a couple of your interviews here, and they're very good. You had some really cool people on there. Mm-hmm. And usually the first question is, tell us about yourself. I'm glad you didn't ask me that, largely because you already know. But, for the edification of your audience, I will admit that when asked a question like that, even if I'm prepared for it, I feel like, what's his name? Anthony Michael Hall in Breakfast Club, the Geek Kid in Breakfast Club, where they had to write the essay about who you think you are. And he's sitting there, playing with the pen, and it goes up his nose, and he's like, who am I? Who am I? Like, it always feels like that. Because, I mean, how do you answer such a question without really, trying to devolve into what it is that you do, which is a very different mm-hmm. question than who you are. So I appreciate you sparing me that. Thank you. What do I think happens when you die? Or what do I think happens when I die? Because I don't believe that it's the same for everyone. Mm. Let's just cut straight to it. I don't believe that there is a death per se. I think the nature of our experience might change. The senses or sense faculties that we might utilize to experience a realm or a place beyond this, whatever you might call it, is different. It's not sight and hearing and touch and smell and all that. But I don't think the element, that quintessential element of experience and consciousness, ever goes away, regardless of where we go. And again, I don't think it's the same for everyone. We are all here sharing space on this planet as spirits inhabiting these bodies. But I don't think we all came here from the same place either. I think we have very different reasons for coming here. And I couldn't begin to pretend to speak intelligently about the experience of another person, not just their belief system in the human capacity, but in reality, what might become of them, or, whence they come, whither they go, any of that stuff. But for me, I don't believe that there is an end at all. As far as the places that we go to, I mean, I could talk about that, but that would be a very individual experience, that's, born of and experienced deep in the recesses of meditation. I've had a meditative practice that's, wow, gosh, man. I mean, it's probably almost 40 years, really, that I've been practicing that type of thing. And what I experienced there is not something that is easily conveyed in words. Because again, what I'm experiencing is not being experienced with the senses that we have. Okay. So whenever you hear a person, usually some guru or spiritual master, however they want to call themselves, talk about the ineffable experience of that, they're telling the truth, because you can't speak in words something that you don't experience with the senses that we can all relate to, any more than I could tell a person who was born without the faculty of smell, what a fart smells like, what anything smells like, what smell is, just the very nature of what it is could not possibly be conveyed. So, so I won't go into try to explain that, but suffice it to say, I don't think it ends.
So when you mention your meditative processes, this is something I've never asked you. I'm just curious, and you don't have to answer if you don't want to. Mm-hmm. Have you been in your meditative processes where you came from?
Yes.
I think that's why you speak with such clarity and assurance, is that you have been there and you do know where it is.
Yeah. Or what it is. You get to see it happen. You get to be in those places. I mean, it's kind of like, I always, whenever doing interviews like this, I always picture like, who's listening to this, right? And it's like, what's this clown talking about? But it is what it is, and that's why I never, organized religions never did it for me, for the simple fact that they try to box in the spiritual human experience as if we are some monolith of similar experiences. Okay. And that always rubbed me the wrong way, much in the same way when a politician talks about, the women vote or the black vote or the Hispanic vote, as if those people are some monolith of ideology, and they're not. They're individuals with their own values, their own experiences, and their own desires. So yeah, just me. I can't talk about anyone else.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you a question that involves you talking about someone else. When we look back on life, and you're getting to the age that you can look back on a good amount of life.
Yeah.
We have people that changed who we were and were influential to us through trauma or through modeling behaviors that we don't want to emulate. Who in your life influenced you in a positive way? Who changed how you view things? Who changed who you are in a very positive way?
So I'm very glad that you sent a list of the questions prior to the interview.
Sure.
If I had to do that on the fly, it would be tough. But even so, having preparation of it, it's still a hard thing to do, because I'm not a young man, and at least I'm not old, but I'm definitely past the point where there are probably fewer years ahead than there are behind. Okay. So I have had a lot of people influence me. Mostly, it's strange because I would say that I have learned the best life lessons from those who have influenced me. You could say it was positive because I'll twist it to make it positive, but while they were doing the influencing, it was very negative. Okay. It wasn't like a motivational or attaboy kind of like, let me influence you positively and see what happens. No, it was usually violent and just negative, right? So anyway, I thought about this and I'm like, God, who could I pick out of this? And I'm going to pick this one person because I was able to give this person redemption for this years later. Okay. And I know... So I did just watch the Joe interview. If you haven't watched the Joe interview, watch it. It's really good. It just came out. And the first thing that Joe said when you asked that question was, you mean like not you? Besides you? Yeah. So you definitely have influenced me in a positive way. But the person I want to talk about was someone that when I was younger, when I was a teenager, I had two phases in my life. One was, we'll just say pre-Air Force and then post-Air Force, right? Now, before I went into the military, I had a typical textbook 1980s Los Angeles bad upbringing in that, I was in a single parent home. I was a latchkey kid. I got a twin brother. His sister is 2 years older than me. And I would just be looking for trouble. No father figure in the house. And my father was a very violent, largely negative influence, by the way. But, I kind of ran amok and got into a lot of trouble. Hung out with, the wrong crowd, the typical stuff. Started smoking cigarettes, get into the beer, get into the weed, get into stuff like that. Just being a general degenerate derelict. But my grades were good. You see, that would let me get away with a lot of things. But anyhow, I wasn't a bad kid. I didn't hurt people. Okay. I never hurt a person. I never beat anyone up, never robbed anyone. I didn't do things like that. It wasn't crimes against people, but crimes against property were wide open, man. I was all about that. Now, toward my, I'd say when I was a senior in high school, was when things really started to get out of hand. We were definitely into some bigger scores, as it were. And I don't know if you want me to tell you the whole story of the arrest.
Go wild.
Let's just say my friends were already in jail. Okay. And so, well, let me just back up. All right. We did this thing. Okay. And I'm driving toward town and I got my two buddies with me and I'm making a left turn onto the main street. And I see in my rear view mirror, police, and they got the lights on, not the sirens, just the lights. And so as I make the left turn, I swing kind of wide because I want them to go around me because I figure I'm holding them up. And I didn't realize that as I turn to the left, I can see more of the cars that are behind that one police car. And there's a line of them. And they all look different agencies and stuff. And I pulled over to the right to let them go around me. But only a couple of them went around me and stopped real quick because they were there for me. Okay. They didn't want to go around me. It was a felony stop, guns out, face in the concrete. They drag us, all out of the car. They arrest my two buddies with me. They take them away. And then this big state trooper gets in my face and he says, I'm going to be in front of you. This guy's going to be behind you. You're going to follow us down to the detachment here. We're going to ask you some questions. Okay. Now I'm 17 still. Okay. So I'm not an adult. But I did, as they said, I went down there and, I'm in the interrogation room. They got the tape recorder going and there's like 2 or 3 detectives in there and they're asking about this job that we literally just pulled, man. And they were, giving you the whole thing about, your friends ratted on you. They said this, that, and the other. And I took the one piece of advice that my father gave me that has saved me many times. And that was, son, never miss a good opportunity to shut the fuck up. Never. And I did. I did not miss that opportunity. Sitting there the whole time knowing full well that if they were to walk out into that parking lot and search my car, it was over. They had all the evidence they needed. Okay. Now, that didn't happen. They let me go. My friends went to jail. Now, me, in my infinite wisdom, thought it'd be fun to go over to the local police department and ask after my friends, where they're being held. Can I go see them? Because I'm thinking this is going to get bigger. We got to get our story straight. I walk into that police station, and out of the back comes an officer. His name is Ed Mullins, Sergeant Edward Mullins of the Warwick Police Department. Comes out there and says, "Come with me," right? We go into the back and he just grabs me by like the side and the back of my neck, throws me into this room, locks the door behind him, picks me, not, it doesn't pick me up, but, drags me. I'm a, skinny little dorky kid, throws me into this chair and gets in my face and just starts chewing ass. I mean, chewing ass. Now, I did 7 years in the Air Force, so this was not my first or last ass chewing I was going to get, but it was definitely up there with some of the best ones. But the intent during the ass chewing was basically, you are in the wrong place with the wrong people. I see more in you than you see in yourself, right? And which, was a good thing. but 20 or 30 minutes later, when that chewing was over and they let me out, I go on with my life. I eventually do go into the Air Force after I graduate. And years later, that now that I have a good job in the military, I've gained lots of experience and education. I'm married with children. I called this guy back up, and I'd found out he had since retired. They weren't going to give me his phone number, okay, but they said I could leave him a message and they would get it to him. And they did. And he called me back that night. And I told him, first I asked, do you remember me? And he's like, I remember you, man, because I have had a lot of interaction with this guy. He has chased me on foot. He has chased me in his car. He has chased me outside of his jurisdiction into other towns that we were doing things we shouldn't be doing anyway, because he happened to live in one of these towns. Anyway, he definitely remembered me. And I told him, how what he had said had changed how I thought about the world and where I am now. And I just wanted to let him know that was because of him, right? And he got choked up, man. And he said, I've been a cop for almost 30 years. And every day I would wonder, am I making a difference? Does this mean anything? Am I helping anything? And he said, what you just told me made it all worth it. So I was able to kind of let him know that, it was a great thing you did. You did make a difference. And I'm going to show you, how and why. So that's a person, he's probably dead by now. But that's a person that influenced me in a positive way that I was able to let know. After positivity had manifested itself. So I hope that's clear.
That's wonderful. That's a great story.
Yeah.
What I thought of when you were talking about that is what you always have told our kids, which, the shut the fuck up thing.
Never.
Where you say you can't talk your way out of handcuffs, but you can sure talk your way into them.
Yeah. Your mouth.
Yeah. So
just shut up and wait for discovery. Okay. That's just,
There's, this isn't a one person show here on the people that influenced you, but I know somebody. I don't know if you thought of this person or not. You may have disqualified him. If you don't want to talk about him, that's fine. But Frank Short.
Yeah.
He was a big influence.
I did not think about that. I didn't.
That's why I'm here, man.
I know. Yeah. That's why we're still married.
So context, Frank Short was a minister who lived across the street from us for almost 19 years in Grizzly Flats.
We're there 18 years. Yeah.
He was literally the first person we met in the town because he came over and introduced himself. And you know how old he is or was, and I don't.
He's probably in his late 80s.
Now, right now.
Right now. Yeah. He's pretty young.
And two people seemingly could not have less in common than you and Frank.
Yeah.
But you spent hours sitting together and talking and ruminating and debating and inspiring each other, I think, really.
I would like to think so. I don't know. I've never heard any feedback or seen anything measurable that would indicate that I had, that kind of effect on his life or perspective or anything like that, except for the fact that he would always want me to come over and talk to him. So, I mean, he didn't hate it, right?
As far as we know.
As far as we know, he's sitting over there talking to his wife, Sharon, going, oh man, that guy's going to come over here again. Shit.
He was real good to you though.
He was yes, he was. He was really good. And I think that like a lot of people who might seek for surrogate children after their children are raised, he was admittedly a bad father. And maybe he saw in me a means of some kind of, because I mean, with the age, he could have easily been my father, even even a much older father, because he is older than my father was, quite a bit. I think there might have been a part of that. I think he was only bummed out that I wasn't Christian, in
That
a
was
way.
his greatest failure, I think.
Yeah. But I loved talking to him about those kind of things. I mean, because, Christianity is spirituality, man. I mean, it's, that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I like to think that he did too, but no, I didn't.
I think he did.
Didn't think that. But what he really helped out, just for clarification, as far as positivity, what I think of when I think of what positivity did he give me, there was a long time I spent angry and really confused at the ways of the world, because we lived up in Grizzly Flat, and even though we had a very beautiful property, arguably the best property in that township, and everybody knew it, but we had people near us that were just laughing and scratching and doing drugs all day and loud music all night and just partying, man. And I'm over there breaking brick.
We were
to barely not
Yeah.
pay my mortgage, man, and it was so hard. And I'm like, Frank, I don't get it. I don't get how I can be good and honest and honorable and whatever, all the, the Boy Scout traits. And then we got these guys, living not a few hundred feet from me that are just derelict, and they're enjoying the same kind of, place that I am. It just doesn't make sense. And he's like, that's because the devil already has them. That's why. He's already got them. He's looking for you. He wants you. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, even if that's BS, that made me feel a lot better.
Sure. We were
come on, man. Come on, devil.
We were looking for almost anything to make us feel better back then.
Dude, yeah, I know that. So because I've watched some of the interviews here, especially one with Joe, you did talk about our periods of abject poverty, and yeah, it was, we had some hard times.
Did.
So
we did. Mm-hmm. So you have done more than probably any human I know, as far as having adventures, having just specific experiences, things you've accomplished, your education levels, your different companies you've owned, and jobs you've pursued, and hobbies you've pursued, and things where you said, I think I want to learn how to sing. And you take singing lessons for a couple of years and get really good at it. And you just, one of the ways you inspired me most is by, I think back to the stripper pole story all the time. So you were still pretty much a teenager. I think you were a teenager.
I was in Korea. I was 18.
You were in Korea. And correct me if I'm wrong on this story, but you're out with a bunch of guys and there's a stripper pole there, and you got up and started dancing on the stripper pole.
Yeah.
Or somebody dared you to or something.
We were all pretty drunk. Anyone who's been to Korea knows about soju. So I don't remember if I was dared or not.
The upshot was they started clowning you for being on the stripper pole.
Right.
And what'd you say to them?
Say, yeah, but you were sitting there watching me.
Right. Okay. And that's when I came to
just a
know
simple,
you.
Stupid thing. I'm glad it inspired you, but
no, when we met, I was the person watching everybody else.
Yeah. Right.
And you just really had the balls to get out there and do so. Well, why aren't we doing this? Well, you want to do this? Let's do it. And you were such an instigator, and you were the one that made things happen. And so that inspired me to go for it. That inspired me to write that book and get it published and do the different things that I've done, and made me engage life more, made me more proactive about doing stuff. And so with that huge catalog of things that you've done, when you look back on all of that, what do you feel the most proud of? Where you can look at it and say, I did something there. That was amazing. And it can be more than one thing.
So, I mean, I thought about this as well. I didn't think about it in the context of experiences I've wanted to have and then had, or educations or whatever I'd gotten as a source of pride. I think what I am most proud of is, all right, I gotta go back a little bit to kind of tell the story so it makes kind of sense. All right. So I'm pretty sure that a lot of your audience that is watching this, and I know you yourself, of course, are familiar with the idea of synchronicity in numbers. Okay. So the whole phenomena of seeing a particular pattern of numbers, okay, like on a clock maybe, is something that there's a whole new age, I guess maybe pseudoscience or noetic science, what it may be, of this people seeing particular patterns of numbers throughout the day and over a span of time, and that it has meaning for them. Okay, so like the 11:11 thing, or seeing 3 3s, some angel sign or whatever. So the 11:11 thing has actually been with me my whole life, right? Even when I was a little kid, where there was no, I forget it, there was no computers, of course, and there was no way to learn about something like this as a 5 or 6 year old in a Catholic household. But one of the things that I would see, we had one digital clock. It was in my parents' room, right? One of those old evil red ones, right? Remember those? And I would always see 7:47. Right. So 47 minutes after 7. Right. And I had no idea what that meant, but it would just always happen. I didn't even know what a 747 jet was. So I didn't have any reference to what that is. Okay. Years later, I did, I was like, oh, I wonder if that, was about like a 747 jet, because it just kept happening my whole life. Right. Or my young life. And I was really into aircraft. I always wanted to be a pilot. That's why I went into the Air Force. But those numbers stayed there. Until I want to say maybe after I got into the Air Force was when I actually started seeing the 11:11, right? And then it was a few years after that, when we were in the house in Sacramento, when I stumbled upon, and the internet is still in its early stage, and I stumbled upon this website called Crystal Links, which I think still exists, right? And they were talking about the 11:11 synchronicity. And I was like, my mind was just, oh my God, right? I'm not alone. I'm not the only one. I thought I was, weird or something. And that that was the first time it was conveyed to me from an outside source that this means something. There's a meaning behind this. There's a reason you're seeing it, right? And I started thinking back, like, man, I've seen this my whole life, because 747 really is 11 both ways. 7 and 4, 4 and 7. It's kind of in the middle. And hell, even my name, Eric Rasbold, has 4 letters and then 7 letters, right? So there's a lot going on there. I don't have a middle name, by the way. I got a twin brother instead named Edward. So I don't have a middle name, and neither does he. But so that pattern of 11, but specifically a 7 and 4 being 11, just has always been there, right? So getting to the question at hand, what am I most proud of? It's one thing to see the signs. It's another thing to follow the sign. Okay. And when we were in our deepest, darkest moments of poverty in Sacramento, that's when we found out the landlord was selling the house. And now you got 30 days to leave and find another house. Now, in case anyone doesn't know, that was at a time when my business was failing. And we didn't have the proverbial pot to piss in or window to throw it out of. Okay. We were so busted that there was no way we could rent another house. We just didn't have the money. Okay. So we were looking at a very real possibility of being homeless. Okay. So in a last ditch effort, I was like, I wonder if we can buy a house. Okay. So started looking for houses, found the one up in Grizzly Flat. This house was $238,000. I didn't have $238, okay, let alone $238,000. So I went up and looked at it anyway, okay? And when I did, I went into the kitchen, which this is a kitchen of Katrina's nightmares, okay? But I went into this kitchen, and it had an oven in there that had a digital readout, and the time on it was 11:11. And I took a picture of it, okay? And I said to myself, this is the place, okay? I'm going to make this happen, okay? So come back. And at great legal risk to myself, through all kinds of shenanigans that we probably, the statute of limitations has ended on that, but let's suffice to say I got a liar loan. Okay. I got a ninja loan, no income, no job, and no assets. I think ninja was coined after me. okay, because it was a complete fraudulent crock. But we did end up getting this house. And that house had been the key to our financial independence almost 20 years later.
Yeah.
I followed the signs. I followed it. I saw it through, and it paid off big time. And I'm proud of that because that saved my family, saved our situation, saved everything. And it is now probably the biggest reason that I was able to retire fairly financially independent at 45 years old. So,
and we were late on that first mortgage payment.
We were late on. I got a call from Washington Mutual, the bank, on the 16th day, and they were like, "You got to be shitting me, dude!" Like, just like, dude, I'll get it to you, But no, we made good on that loan. We paid it off. I mean, everything was good. No one was hurt. They were deceived. I mean, banks and lenders. I mean, they were definitely deceived to make that happen, but it happened. It worked out. And we really saved ourselves from actual street homousness.
Yeah. We had the conversation about living in our 69 VW bus.
In the Volkswagen, yeah. And I knew I was risking, a stint at Club Fed to do what I was doing. But, I mean, what father's not going to risk jail to save his family? Come on, dude. Like, that was not even a decision. So
now, to be clear to everybody that's watching, that was in 2004. And if any of you were functioning adults in 2004, you know that was a time that there was major hinky stuff going on with mortgages.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's not as though we personally brought down Washington Mutual.
We paid them off. We didn't bring them down.
We did not.
No, but I'm sure that loan packet stunk so bad, bringing it into the underwriter. They were just like, man, just
give them the house. I remember that the real estate agent did a personal loan for our down payment so we could just pay her off.
And let us borrow money to pay for the moving truck. That's how broke we were.
Yeah.
We didn't have money to pay for a moving truck, dude. Come on, man. I mean, that was, yeah. That was a rough spread, but that was the start of the ascent.
Yes, that was definitely the bottom.
I have done a lot of things that I am proud of in my life. I'm happy to say I have not done many things that I'm ashamed of. But that was that saved us. So I'll put that. I'll kick that in there. That's cool.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
One of the things I am most proud of, not that this is an interview with me, but it involves you. And I've got several things that I'm profoundly proud of. And a lot of it was not something I did, but something I was blessed by, that I was instrumental in it happening. And one of those things is when I didn't have to twist your arm too hard, but when I got you to go to Hawaii with me.
Oh, yeah.
And that being such a success. And it wasn't a success because we had tons of money to go to stay at the best hotels and go to all of the white person luau's and all of that. It's because we went there and didn't participate in any of the tourist stuff at all.
And did better than anyone that did.
And you had a great experience. And I really felt like I pulled something off, even though it wasn't me that did it. I just said, hey, this is what we need to do.
Yeah, that was definitely cool.
That was a good moment.
You got a lot of good stories and good memories from.
Definitely, for sure.
We were there like 11 days or something. It wasn't that long, but
yeah. So I don't know the answer to this next question, and I should. You and I are very avid movie fans. We are very avid TV watchers, and that's our time together. Every night, whether we need it or not, we're going to sit down and eat our meal and watch TV together and at least get in an episode or 12. Sometimes we'll sit there for 5 or 6 hours watching TV. And I want to know, and we've watched a lot of them, what movie or TV show do you really enjoy? What have you really been into lately or at all? Or book or podcast, any of those?
Well, we did just rewatch Deadwood, right? I like that. I am not a person that watches things twice. Okay. Unless there's a couple things, but um, I like to have my experience of it and just retain that and let that be the judge, and that's it. But we did watch Deadwood again, and I had forgotten how well written and acted that was. That was really, really good. And we are in a sea of garbage out there right now. Probably because there's not a lot of gatekeepers. There's 1,500 channels of shit instead of 13 now. But that's good because good stuff does get through that wouldn't make it through the studios possibly, and it's been great. But that is, that's the most recent thing. As far as anything online, actually, these podcasts right here that you're doing, these interviews, I've been watching these interviews, and they're really, really good. I mean, I like that you're talking to a lot of people that I know. Okay, some of them I know really well, and it's interesting. Like Nicole's a good example. Okay, like I watched Nicole's, and it was neat to hear how they would answer these questions and how they would talk and what things they talked about when I'm not around. Not that they would change or say anything different because I'm there or not, but just that my energy is not there. Just kind of get to see just a different angle or perspective of this person, just from like a side silhouette maybe instead of head on. That was kind of neat. And I really enjoyed that. So I've been watching those. I don't have a lot of serial things that I watch. Even on YouTube, I watch an embarrassing amount of YouTube. I mean, I just, but it's not stuff that's serialized, and, coming up next week, we're going to do this, that, and the other. I like watching NDE podcasts. Have you watched a lot of those?
I don't know what that is.
NDE, near-death experience.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of cool. I like to see similarities and differences and kind of align them with people's spiritual beliefs, from all over the world, and not just the United States. Kind of neat to hear what other people, how they experience that. Because I have my own experiences, not with I never had a near-death experience, just what's wrought from meditation. So it's kind of cool to see and hear that. But yeah, the most recent thing has been your interviews here.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm making a note. Okay, I'm back.
Do more interviews?
No, it wasn't that.
Okay.
So this one is a really fun question. And I recently traded out another question for this because I was so ate up about this question. I thought it was just amazing. If you, and I got it from Thomas Prower.
Did you switch it before this interview?
Yeah. No.
So I don't know what it is.
No, you've got the right questions. It was with Tomas. When I was interviewing him, he brought this up in the context of other things we were talking about. And I thought, what a great question. I've got to include that. So I went through the 8 and picked the one I could sacrifice most easily. And this is the new one. I've only done 3 or 4 with this, I think. If you could go back to any point in your lifetime and tell your younger self something, with full knowledge, you've got full knowledge of what you got now, and you're going to approach your younger self and tell them something. And it's with the idea that your younger self would listen to it and give it credence. When would it be, and what would you say?
Yeah. Okay. I do remember this question. I do remember that interview too with Tomas Pratt. That was a really good one too.
Oh, he's a great interview.
Yeah, I like him. I've gone to some of his lectures at PantheaCon and whatnot. So here's the hard part with that question. If someone were to ask me or give me the opportunity to go back and change something, I wouldn't. That's the bitch of it, is I wouldn't. I mean, whatever it is that got me to where I am right now, I wouldn't want to risk that not happening. I think what I would tell myself, is, man, just give it 5 years, dude. Just give it 5 years. Okay.
It's gonna be okay.
Yeah. Just trust me, because I've been in that place where you can't see a way out. And that's just give it 5 years. Okay. Throughout my whole life, and I've thought about this a lot because we were talking before about job interview questions.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years? And my answer to that is at no point in my life did I ever have a period of 5 years, from that point where I could have possibly imagined where the ending of that 5 years was going to have me. I couldn't see it. I couldn't see that far ahead. I couldn't foresee, just the changing landscape of my life. I would have been wildly wrong no matter what point you asked me that question. So I would just say to myself, man, give it 5 years. Just, don't do anything. Just give it 5 years.
I think also for both of us, and then collectively as a couple, our goals changed so much in the time we've been together.
Yeah.
That I don't know that there was a 5 years where we would want what was successful the next 5 years.
And, honestly, we hit, with my businesses, with our store, with our books, we always managed to hit this zeitgeist, that was, we came, we saw, we did, and then we left. We knew like it had a finite lifespan and we knew when it was time to leave. So even saying what our future would have been at that time wouldn't have made sense, the perspective that we have, that in the earlier point, I'm totally not making any sense even to myself.
No, you're doing just fine. You're
okay.
Fine.
All right.
You're fine. I tell you.
Yeah, it was the best things that we have done came with no planning.
Yeah.
Like our trip to England.
Yes.
Right?
Wow.
I
Do you know what
I
hell
literally
that is for a Virgo to not have any plan? And that's how we went to England was.
Man, yeah. I rented an apartment in London and we flew out there and that was the only plans we had. And go from there, figure it out on the way. And we saw the coolest shit.
We did.
And we did the neatest stuff. And we just hit it right. Okay. Yeah. Like going to Glastonbury tour. Okay. We got that place to ourselves, man. If we'd have planned that, there'd be 100 people up there. You know it, right? But we got it to ourselves, because it was just completely extemporaneous and on the fly. And I think people should do that more. Itineraries are for airports, nothing else.
So that being said, and this is another question I don't know the answer to. I would have 5 years ago, but I don't now. What, if anything, is still on your bucket list?
You knew the answer to that question for me 5 years ago?
I think I did.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'll ask you. Okay. Man, I don't have much of a bucket list because I have everything. I do. I don't hate to say it. I'm grateful as hell to say it. But I'm not lacking for anything. I mean, it's 2:30 on a Tuesday, and I'm sitting here in my bedroom talking to you with automatic weapons on my wall. That's kind of strange. I could have moved this, but when you mentioned earlier that of all the different things that I've done throughout my life, I was never one of these kids that was like, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a veterinarian, or like Snoop Dogg when he says, I want to be a motherfucking hustler, I never had that. So I've tried many, many, many things. I'm like this eternal dilettante. Okay, I'll get into something, I'll do it, I'll enjoy it, I'll like it, but I never, I wouldn't just doggedly pursue it until I mastered it. I've studied a lot of martial arts, a lot of black belt in any of them, but I know a lot of different ways. Okay. Bucket list stuff. God, I just do it. I think that, I'd like to fly a jet. I'd like to do that. I'd like to fly a jet. I mean, flying planes is fun, but a jet would be really neat. I still haven't gone skydiving yet, but that's a day. That's not like a bucket list thing. That's like no big deal. Jump out of a plane and I mean, how long does it last, really? You know, the anticipation of it is probably a lot worse than the event. You know, I got to surf a North Shore break all by myself. I mean, come on, you know.
Thanks to a boxing match. Was it a
You
boxing
know,
match?
yeah.
Yeah.
Huh?
Was it a boxing match?
What's it?
I remember something was
It
happening that
was
day.
it was the Jake Paul Mike Tyson boxing match, and everyone in the lineup wanted to see it. And since we were in Hawaii, that fight came on at like 2:30 in the afternoon, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So around 2 o'clock, everybody started leaving the break and left it all to me. The whole thing, man. I'm up at Haleiwa. Just every wave was mine. I mean, you couldn't pay for that, you know.
And we didn't.
And we didn't. No, I didn't. It was totally free. You know, I think I paid $10 for the board or something. I don't know, $15. But I would like to, of all the things that I do, that I like to do, and I like to do a lot of things, I love to sing.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. It's something you can get your entire body and your entire consciousness into the production of this sound, right? And you can lose yourself in it. I'd like to record a song. I don't necessarily need to write it, but I'd like to record a good song, something that's mine, something that'll last.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be cool. I'd like to do that.
Well, we do a whole lot, and I mean a whole lot of karaoke. And you have professional equipment that we do the karaoke with. And so I can say with some authority that I think you do just fine recording a song.
Well, I was classically trained for about 4 years.
Yeah.
And so
By an opera diva.
Yeah. She was definitely amazing. So
yes.
Yeah.
And but for those of you who don't know or do know, she's the reason we have Nemo, our cat.
Yes. Yes, she is. Yeah. Which I'm surprised to find not in here, actually.
I'm sorry. I said our cat. It's your cat. The cat does not care if I'm around it. So.
Right.
So, what is your favorite part of the day? Your typical day. What part of the day is your favorite?
Yeah. I mean, it depends on what I'm doing, but I mean, if just a typical day, I like evening into night. That's the dimming of the day, as it were.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Especially since we get to see every single sunset, no matter what the weather is, because we can see past the ocean in California. So even if there's a storm over us, unless it's really low and it gets, below our elevation or something, you can still see a sunset and it's going to be raining outside, which is just awesome, man.
Definitely magical.
Yeah. And I love that. I'll sit up in the orchard or, by the vineyard or something, drink a glass of wine or a beer or something like that. And just be like, yeah. Yeah.
I remember when you used to sit in the garage.
Yeah. Wishing I had something like that.
Big difference. Yeah.
Or sitting on the side of the house in Sacramento where I couldn't quite hear the traffic as loud. This is definitely hard won, what we have here.
Sure is.
Definitely is. Yeah.
So here's a reverse of that. What, if anything, would you like to promote? If you could, what would you like to promote specifically, I guess, that you do or that we do, or any of the books that are most significant to you or anything like that?
Before you do that, I wanted to know what you thought would be on my bucket list 5 years ago. Was it the bucket list question?
Yes.
Well, you said, okay, what was it?
So 5 years ago, get off the mountain.
Okay, because we're still up.
Okay. Yeah. You'd want our store to be a success for a very, very, very long time.
Mm-hmm.
You would want all the kids to move out of the house and be successful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of other things that you would shift.
Was it anything that I would do in particular, like an experience I would have, or?
I think that you wanted to go to Hawaii or do something like that. You wanted to be in some warm water again.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that was, I would
Yeah.
consider that a bucket list item.
Yeah.
I
That was.
know that there's a part of you that wants to go to Germany.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that might,
I want.
I would have put that on there. And just basically, I think you wanted to be in a position where you weren't having to have all of your hours in your day spoken for by any particular activity. That's what I would have written for you 5 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's all. That's all valid. And especially so. This is was this 2025? So yeah. Yeah. The store.
What
That
COVID
was our
did.
first goal. That was our first goal together.
Mm-hmm.
And it ended up being the last business venture, well, so far, but
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm. So um shit, what was the last question?
What do you want to promote?
That's it. Okay. Um
This can be other people whose businesses you want to put forward. It can be anything that we do, anything that you do.
Yeah. Gosh, I would like to see Joe be more financially successful with his art and his writing, because he's really good and he's been doing it a long time. But he has not met with commercial success yet. And I know that there's a part of him that feels kind of imbalanced, that commercial financial success has not come from him, in his life and in his marriage and all that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with his life or anything like that, but I know that would make him feel really good, and he deserves that because he is good. I remember we used to sit and just spitball ideas or talk about like movie ideas that he has and stuff like that. I'm like, this is really, really good, man. I mean, if this guy had the means to develop that into a tangible product, I mean, it'd be some Steven Spielberg, Oliver Stone level stuff, Yeah. So that I would give for other people. For ourselves, I think the best thing that we have together is our Cusp book.
Mm-hmm.
That is what we are. That is a spiritual doctrine for a temporal existence. And it's something that we've been working on since we've known each other. It's an excellent book. And it's probably one of the only spiritual-esque doctrines that I've read that make any kind of sense for physical life, for what we're doing here. And so I definitely would, want to promote that. So, yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, that book is Cusp, A New Way to Walk an Old Path. But don't buy it yet.
Yeah, we're redoing it. Yeah,
we're rewriting the book. We wrote the book 12 years ago, and we are it was a little book. It was tall, but it was thin, and we are fleshing this thing out. We're totally rewriting it. There's going to be some parts of it that are the same, but there's hordes of pictures now. We are expanding the sections dramatically because we've learned so much in those years that we want to share with everybody. So don't buy the book until after the first of the year. That's probably when we're going to launch the new version.
Hopefully.
So you want to buy Cusp 2026 instead of the one that's there now. It's the one that's there now is good, but you can get a lot of that information by going to thecuspway.com. And Eric mentioned Joe. That's Joe Humphrey, my oldest son. And we'll put the link to him down below. He's an artist. He's a writer. And there's also an interview with him on this channel. So that just aired this week as well. This must be my family week. So yeah, good choices, because the Cusp book has been very instrumental in our spiritual growth and documents it, and is responsible for a lot that we have in our lives, I think.
And a lot of other people too have been influenced and moved by it. Like lots of people.
Lots and
so if you talk about something you're really proud of, to put that out into the world, as a legacy, sacral chakra kind of manifestation, we do have our little piece of immortality right there.
We do.
Yeah.
We do. Do you have anything to add before we finish up for this interview?
I don't think so. That was pretty good, pretty comprehensive. Looks like we're right at an hour too. Perfect.
We're good. We hit a mark.
Right.
You know why? Because what I always said, the Rasbolds know when to leave a party.
Yeah. We know when to leave. We know when to leave. So we're gonna do that right now.
We are. Thanks everybody for joining us, and I'm really excited to share my sweetie with you so that you can meet him and see what he's all about. And I just want to tell you, these kinds of conversations are not isolated to interviews. We talk like this all the time. So it's just our world. It's been 30 years and I haven't run out of things to say to you. So
not yet.
Not yet. Thanks for being here, everybody. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.